Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Taylor Smith from Space Goat Productions.
Hello.
Looking at Evil Dead 2, the official board game.
Yes.
Official.
Yeah, we fought hard to put the TM on that.
Okay. So how did this come about in general? What is Space Goat Productions and how do you come to do this game?
Space Goat Productions has a long and storied past.
Okay.
We've been in the industry and adjacent industries for about a decade, doing talent representation and as service providers, making art for other people's comics, other people's games, other people's projects. About 3 years ago, we went into publishing, and The Evil Dead 2 was our first license.
Okay.
We've been doing these comics for a while, and then I think my boss and I were sitting around, and I let him know that, sometimes I make board games for fun. He's like, shoot, let's make an Evil Dead 2 board game.
All right.
And so that's how this came about. It was a phenomenal success on Kickstarter. It was a ton of fun to work on. So we moved from there into The Terminator, the official board game, based off of the 1984 original T1. And that's actually, I think this lasts like 36, 24 hours on Kickstarter now.
Okay. All right. Well, let's look at this first.
Yep.
So what are we doing here? I do not know Evil Dead 2. I will confess. So
That's perfectly all right.
What is the situation here?
So, the Evil Dead 2 is a comedy horror movie.
Okay.
So it's, in my opinion, like the perfect balance between horror and like gore, but also like slapstick.
Okay.
It's over the top, but over the top in a way that's, it's not taking itself too seriously, but it doesn't shy away from the gags.
Okay.
So what we have here in the game is a cooperative until it's not survival horror game.
Okay.
Which means everybody starts the game playing as the humans from the movie, which you don't have to have seen the movie to know that.
Right.
To pick who you want to play. Each has their own unique abilities, health, and virtue, and you run around the cabin trying to collect pages of the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, which are these guys.
Okay.
Once you,
I can't remember more.
once you collect all 9 of these cards, and you'll see there's some duplicates in there. So once you
Yes.
collect all 9 unique pages, you arrange it together. You form a spell from the Necronomicon. You close the portal. Everything's fine and dandy.
All right.
However, as events start popping up and summoning deadites and just killer monsters, killer trees, demons pop from the portal, you might have to cut off your own hand, which will continue to run around the cabin menacing you.
As it does.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's camping for you.
Okay.
As that stuff happens, you start taking pings to your virtue. And if your virtue runs out, or if you die by the hands of another deadite, which are essentially like demon-possessed zombies, you turn into a deadite yourself.
Okay.
In which you're no longer cooperating with the humans. You're trying to kill the humans. You're trying to collect the pages for your own devious goals. You're working with the AI enemies that are spawning on the boards.
Okay.
And you're trying to rip that portal open and summon all hell on earth.
All right. There you go. And
Yeah.
so you just have some components. This is not set up necessarily for gameplay, but we are located in a cabin.
Yep, so the
And-
cabin is fixed. It's a very claustrophobic sort of environment, so that when you're in the cabin and you start getting surrounded by enemies, you can get cornered fast, and it's dangerous and kind of frightening. There are barricade items where you can block up doors in order to save yourself a little bit of time, but sometimes you just need to get out and run around in the forest around you. And these are tiles because they'll swap throughout the game from forest to tile. Forests are more dangerous, but that's also where pages will spawn. Trails are a little bit like safe zones. You can use them to take a moment, refresh your virtue. That goes back up to full, but now you've just created more forest, which more enemies can spawn on, and it just becomes more dangerous. Then we have the basement tile here that connects via the cellar to the staircase, the trapdoor to the staircase, and again, kind of creating this dead end that, there's going to be a ton of pages down there, but you might also get stuck down there.
Right.
I played one where me and the other player were just like barricaded down there, just trying to kill as many of the deadites coming in. So it's a claustrophobic central point with enough space to run around, escape, kind of gain your bearing. throughout the game, items are going to pop up on the page, so you can collect, your chainsaw, your shotgun, your shovel, your kitchen plates that you can throw.
Okay.
Your standard survival horror fare, and from there you're just constantly running around the board, collecting what you need, and there's a lot of reactionary strategy to the events that the game throws at you.
Okay. And collectively trying to win unless you get converted, or
Yep.
are you just
So
you go off on your own at a certain point?
there's a little bit of skeptical teamwork, right?
Okay.
So everybody has their own strengths, and you can't really win the game alone. So you want to make sure that you're working with, Ed, who's good at fighting, or Jake, who has a lot of life, or Annie, who's really good at spells. You want to make sure that they have the materials they need to do their best job.
Okay.
And so there's a free trade mechanic. If you pick up an item, you can go to one of your allies and say, like, here, this weapon is better in your hands. But you got to know that at any given point, they might turn. Like, there's a virtue,
Right.
so you can kind of see it coming. And there's steps that you can take to distance yourself. So you want to work with these people until
you can't.
while keeping an eye on them.
Right.
Yep. So there's a human win condition and a deadite win condition. The deadite win condition, of course, is collecting the pages in an open. But that always kind of feels like the bad victory.
Right.
But it's still kind of like a victory condition. One of the things that I like about this game, too, is there's no... if you die, you can either be brought back as a deadite, or somebody can bring you back. So it's not over until it's over.
Okay.
You don't have to be killed off and sit there and wait as everybody else has a good time
Right.
playing the game.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks very much for the overview. Evil Dead.
This is in pre-order right now, and we currently have on our Terminator Kickstarter campaign a tier where you can pick up the deluxe version of this and along with the Terminator campaign altogether.